friends. This is Wheezy from the What is True podcast. Hope everyone is doing rather exquisite. This is a small clip, and if you fancy listening to the entire episode, please visit the link tree below. This is due to the heavy censorship on this particular platform, so I hope you guys understand and hope to catch you on these other platforms. Much love. What's up, y'all? Welcome to the What is True podcast. I am your hostess with the mostest, Mr. Wheezy. I am joined by my man, Captain Blackbeard himself. He has sailed the 7 seas. I'm just playing. He goes by the name of Mr. 7 Seas. What's going on, my man?
Man, a whole lot. As far as personally, schedule's been looking pretty good. Been trying to talk to as many people as possible. I appreciate the opportunity to chat here. And then government just lying and pulling some bullshit as always.
Absolutely. Yeah, man, I am excited. We chatted a little bit before coming on live, and last week had a banger of a show. And, for those that missed it, I had Mr. John Brissom, and he was on fire. Great episode, and without even really planning on it, this may be a sequel to last week's. I think this one will be just as fire, if not even more. We will be exploring the technocratic rabbit holes. But before we get there, if you could tell us a little bit about yourself. We did speak a little bit at the very beginning, but you got a super, super fascinating story, man.
I appreciate it, man. Yeah. A lot of the times, I've seen like crazy stories of, people doing all kinds of wild things. My life has been surprisingly unmiraculous as far as everything goes. Grew up kind of having a problem with authority. You can ask my parents, like I never wanted to listen. And if anyone ever said like, because I said so, that was always like a pet peeve of mine, going up through like talking to teachers and stuff. And I remember getting in trouble one time because I found a different way to work with fractions than they were teaching us. And I argued with the teacher about like, well, still getting the right answer and, shit like that. And then, through my early 20s, I was actually, homeless a couple times because I just absolutely refused to go back to my parents' house. And so I was like couch surfing and doing odd jobs off Craigslist. I kind of have always been politically aware of things, especially since like I was a teenager, and learned about like the Rockefellers, the Bilderberg, the Rothschilds and things like that, secret societies. Zeitgeist, I think, was like the inflection point of me like waking up. I was probably 15 or so when I saw that, and I was like, oh shit, 9/11, and the Federal Reserve sucks and all of this. And got into my 20s, just sort of fell into like the daily routine of like having a job, paying bills, just trying to keep my head above water. Working job after job where it seemed like there was always this pattern of, well, sometimes you've got to do some bad things, obfuscate the truth here or there, or you got to reframe the wording of some things. And I a lot of the times I quit my job like out of principle. I wouldn't even give like a 2-week notice or anything. I just would stop showing up and be like, fuck them, as I got a little older, like into my late 20s, I ended up falling in with this job at a social media company. And it was like the best job that I had ever had, the highest pay I'd ever gotten. And then I started to notice like the same pattern where it's, we have to do this certain thing because we're worried about like the bottom line or, the reputation of the company, and it wouldn't be the right thing to do. And I'd always like try to throw my weight behind that. And I just kept getting in trouble. And eventually I just like threw my hands up, said, screw this. I'm going to work for myself, because then at least I can control like when I get to do the right thing and stick to my principles. So I started, I've always been a fan of video games. I play them a lot less than I used to. But I was doing like gaming streams and stuff on YouTube, doing a little bit of music on the side. And while I was doing those gaming streams, I started to slowly incorporate like political talk, but it was like very surface level stuff, like making fun of politicians or just cracking jokes and stuff. And then one day the JD Vance gets tapped as Trump's VP, so I'm on a live stream and I'm looking into JD Vance and I stumble upon this guy named Peter Thiel. And then I blew my own mind by looking into Peter Thiel and realizing like he's been involved with Democrats and Republicans, and he did the NSA thing with Palantir and all of his alignments with Israel and stuff. So I basically had like an existential crisis, I think, for about a week, realizing like everything's fake and we've been lied to our entire lives about basically everything. And now that I'm on the other side of that, it feels a lot better. But that happened probably in July of last year, and since then I've just been doing anything and everything I can to get the truth out there and show people like everything's connected. I've even like dug into the fall of Rome and stuff and seeing how that's not exactly the story that we've been told, and how that happened. And since then, I've had what I would consider extremely, huge strokes of luck, because I always thought I was just going to be some guy in my room just like putting these strings together, like the Charlie meme or whatever. But it seems to really resonate with people, and I don't know, I'm loving every second of it.
Yeah, that's a pretty badass sequence of events for you, man. And the fact that you are fairly new, and blowing up quick, man. It's awesome, especially during this time of hardcore censorship. Tomorrow, I'm gonna have Jason Bassler on the show, and
Okay.
they've been doing this for a long time as well. And that's gonna be one of the topics we hit tomorrow is censorship. But I mean, the fact that you are having this rise amid all this bullshit is pretty badass. And when people look at your research, your charts, the way you map everything out, it makes sense why you are having a meteoric rise. You know what I mean? You lay it out for someone that may not be so well immersed into this to understand. And so I definitely hope that you can lay some of your findings out today and hit all kinds of rabbit holes, man. I've heard you talk about Cambridge Analytica
Mm-hmm.
and J6, and I don't know if you connected any Cambridge Analytica findings to the QAnon movement. So the QAnon movement, bro, that was huge for MAGA. And when you realize Steve Bannon was Trump's campaign manager and that he worked for Cambridge Analytica, the QAnon psyop falls apart.